guys, Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends with another champion guide for you guys. Today it's the BEK killer Bad-El-Kazar, a legacy old school champion in the game who I'm excited to share with you guys some end game content in store for you. But fear not, if you're not a fan of the fully empowered Foley and Bad-El-Kazar, I do have a bunch of champions in queue on the mini account coming at you guys soon as well. Just like the Foley video, got a lot of positive feedback on that one. I will, share strategy advice and build advice that applies to every player, no matter if you have, the empowerments or whatnot on the champions that I'm about to show you. So we have Barodiak says Bad-El-Kazar would be nice. We have Barodiak again, looking for Bad-El-Kazar. We got you, man. We got Keith Williams. Please revisit Bad-El. I finally pulled one after 3.5 years. Same day I pulled 5-star Ascension. Million 2712 Bad-El-Kazar. Guide, plead. Tate Allen says, hey Ash, love the idea of this channel. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Can you do a guide on Bad-El? Pulled him during the double legendary. And then just Doka, a strong debuffer, nice video. I would like to see strongest Bad-El-Kazar or Nethril. Okay, we can do the strongest. Yeah, for sure. And Archer as well, asking for a Bad-El-Kazar guide. So why is this Bad-El-Kazar dude so special? Why so many requests on this champion? He is such a simple kit, but incredibly powerful one. On the A1 Dark Sphere AoE, actually, let's rewind a little bit here. This guy looks freaking amazing. Sometimes on these old school champions, their builds might not stand, or their visuals, excuse me, their aesthetics might not stand the test of time as well as some of these new, amazing looking champions. But Bad-El-Kazar, man, he's still got it, man. He looks really good. Just absolute badass. It makes me think of Chosen, the YouTuber's channel, because he has the same, his face on Bad-El-Kazar's body, which is pretty cool as well. And we have new updated lore, which I will read the entire lore story to you guys. Story time here at the end of today's video, so stay tuned for that as well. You can hear how Bad-El-Kazar came to be. And this is the official lore inside the game, so I'm excited about that one. On the A1 Dark Sphere, attacks all enemies, heals his champion and all allies by 20% of the damage inflicted. Well, he's not putting out any damage, really. Next to nothing in terms of the multipliers here, despite him having almost 1100 base attack, which is good for a support champion. But again, not much damage, so don't expect massive heals from the A1. Expect massive heals from the A2. Malice, one of the more powerful abilities in the game. The nice thing is, 2 books go right to the cooldown, man. Don't we wish that all legendaries, especially skills, were this easy to book out? We do have 6 levels here, which is kind of a bummer, but that's it. 2 levels here and nothing on the passive, and that's the whole kit. Anyway, Malice removes all debuffs, a full cleanse from all allies. Then we have not 1 but 2 big versions of continuous heal, and then we have 2 poisons on all enemies for 2 turns. All of this on 1 3-turn cooldown ability. Very powerful. This makes him an incredibly viable candidate for a Relentless set or a Reflex set, since he only has 1 ability that cooldown can be brought down on 40% chance. On the passive, Prey Upon. All allies inflict 20% more damage, just raw damage, against targets under poison debuffs. So a very powerful poison synergistic passive that he has as well. So he has crit rate in all battles by 25%. I really don't use a lot of Bad-El-Kazar in the lead unless I don't have another aura lead for my team, in which case, hey, some crit rate is better than nothing. Also helps him out a little bit on that A1, because we're not really building Bad-El-Kazar with 100% crit rate or anything close to it. We don't care about his crit damage and crit rate at all, really. But it does help out a little bit, as I said, with A1 if you do have him as an aura lead, for lack of better options. Let's go ahead and take a look at how we built him here, guys. So, Bad-El-Kazar, as I mentioned, we do have him fully empowered, and we have him awakened 3-star on the account. I have Bad-El-Kazar in Relentless gear and a Perception set. Reflex, arguably better on this champion, arguably worse on this champion. To me, it's very close. Whatever gear you have more of available, I would go with that set. I went Relentless for exactly that reason. Reflex, I like to use on a specific amount of champions because, frankly, I do not farm Ice Golem that much at all. So the good reflex gear that I have to use it on champions that I absolutely need reflex on, such as my Valkyrie for Fire Knight 10, such as a one of my Cold Hearts to just keep going to the Heartseeker ability, such as one of my Geomancers to shut off the A2 and just start hammering out those A3s. So those are some examples. Contra the Cyclone, again, I love in reflex. Bad-El-Kazar, he works fine with Relentless or reflex. Obviously, if he gets that extra turn, it's going to reduce the cooldown anyway of that A2 ability. The idea is, though, is to keep him going with this A2 as much as humanly possible, because it's, again, one of the best heals and damage dealers out there on a 3-turn cooldown. I have Brimstone as a blessing on my Bad-El-Kazar. Chances of placing a smite are not bad, and they can land on that A1, which is an AoE, so it's nice to have there. I think that's a fine way to go for him. You can go... You don't see a lot of Bad-El-Kazar in the arena, frankly, guys. So I don't see any reason to go like Polymorph on Bad-El-Kazar. You could go with Intimidating Presence and use him to strengthen your team's aura, weaken your enemy's aura if you'd like to. You could go with Lightning Cage as well, protecting, buffs, protecting continuous heals and whatever else buffs are out there. Let's see. You could probably also go with Temporal Chains, right? Decrease enemy speed by 3% for each active buff they are under. A few different ways to go with Bad-El-Kazar. You could even go with Bone Armor as well. So I went with Brimstone, as I mentioned. Let's go to the Masteries here. I have him in this build to beef up his resistance quite a bit here so that he can competently solo various stages of Ice Golem, right? So having some resistance built in will help him from getting that heal reduction, most importantly, and any other debuff that anybody can throw on him. The Retribution is nice. Again, there's not a lot of heals on that A1, but there is heals nonetheless, and we'll take what we can get. Support tree, excuse me. I went down. This is important. The only thing I would say is most important on this champion for Masteries is going support, picking up lasting gifts to have a chance at extending the duration of the continuous heals, casting 2 on the same ability, 3-turn cooldown. Same thing with the poisons on Master Hexer. Now, alternatively, we can also go with Rapid Response and with Arcane Celerity. So consider doing that if you want your Bad-El-Kazar to move even quicker, right, throughout the battle. 30% chance of increasing turn meter when a debuff is cast, expires, or is removed, and 30% chance when a buff that is cast is expired or removed. So again, a very potent combo. Us in this build, we went with Swarm Smiter, a little bit extra accuracy, never hurt anybody as well. But I think, I don't want to pay the gems. I think if I redid this, I would probably go with, I'd probably get rid of Bloodthirst, and I'd probably come down to Exalt in Death and pick up, I'm going to do it. Screw it, I'm going to do it with you guys. Here we go. We're going to go with, no, Ash, don't do it. There we go. I want to pick up Arcane Celerity and Rapid Response. It's going to be a lot of extra turn meter throughout the duration of the battle. We'll come down here with Cycle of Magic, Lasting Gifts, as we spoke about. Now, we can go actually Evil Eye instead, and then go with Master Hexer, because Lure of Steel is really not going to benefit him that much. Also noteworthy, Lay on Hands does work with his A1, but Lay on Hands and Healing Savior and Merciful Aid do not apply to continuous heals, where, again, 95% of Bad-El's heals are going to come from. However, you can get more heals by going with Lasting Gifts, so keep that in mind as well. We could go with Oppressor. That will increase the target's turn meter fill rate by 2.5% for each active debuff cast by this champion. He's going to get up there really quickly with Oppressor, so that's a really interesting option for him as well. But as I mentioned, we really want resistance on our build, so I will go with, I'll go with Resistance. I'll go with Improved Parry. I'll go with Bloodthirst. I'll come down with Delay Death, come back down with Retribution, and then end with Unshakable for that resistance. And then I'll fill things out with a little bit extra accuracy there. So I actually like this build quite a bit more. It's going to get more bang for our buck in terms of turns and speed out of Bad-El-Kazar turn meter fill. Speaking of speed, definitely a priority on this champion. 293, as fast as you can get him, really, even if you can only have him at like 200 or 210 speed, that's going to be fine for kind of the mid game and progression as well, especially if he's in Relentless or Reflex. Keep in mind, though, every turn he gets is another shot at relentless procking or reflex procking. So that's really good. Accuracy is a massive priority for him, obviously, to land all his poisons. And then survivability. It's a fairly simple build, right? Speed, accuracy, survivability. In terms of priorities on Bad-El-Kazar, you can go with accuracy on the banner. We have the luxury of going with defense because we find accuracy in other places, and we have him +4 empowered. Speaking of accuracy in other places, we got a trip roll 48 accuracy on this epic amulet. Sign me up for that, guys. And then more HP survivability on the ring. Nice ring here on Bad-El-Kazar. Double roll plus a 6-star glyph on that defense. We get speed on the boots. We have HP percentage on the chest. We have defense percentage on the gauntlets. Do not ignore defense. Do not ignore HP. You want a lot of both, right? Especially in these level 25 or level 10 or hard mode dungeons. So again, speed and accuracy. Speed, no accuracy there, but a lot of speed. And then again, speed and accuracy on the weapon. All right, guys, so we talked about various different builds. I would say number 1, reflex. Number 2, relentless. Number 3, I would say just triple perception on Bad-El-Kazar. Number 4, regeneration and immortal, right? Just going over regen and immortal and just keeping him alive so he can solo whatever content that you're using him for. So those would be my 4 recommended builds for this champion. Again, regen and immortal. Well, I already went through them. I think you guys got the point. All right, let's use this dude, right? First, I'll start out with my main Dragon 10 team. So Dragon 10 hard. This is the squad. It's a Seer activation team with Staltis, Dragonbane, and Bad-El-Kazar. You can use Bad-El-Kazar as a great Seer activator as well, because obviously he's bringing 2 buffs to the table, 2 continuous heals, which obviously count as 2 different buffs that can help stack with whoever else on your team is trying to activate Seer. So if you had, for example, instead of Lydia, you don't have to have Lydia on a team like this. She's just there for the buffs. That's it. But if you had, you know, a Mausoleum Mage, an Archmage Helmet, somebody with 3 buffs on this team is all that really matters. Stack that with Bad-El-Kazar, and that's going to be enough to activate Seer. So here we go. Against the dragon here, you're going to see a lot of cleansing, which is fantastic. Extra turn, extra turn, extra turn. That's more poisons, more continuous heals. Sign me up. The fact that we're reviving Seer is almost a bad thing in terms of speed. You can see that we have Smite as well applied onto the dragon thanks to the blessing. And it's as easy as that, man. The power of Bad-El-Kazar, right? A lot of damage and poisons. More extra turns there as well in case you guys missed it. And you see all those boost turn meters? Boost turn meter, boost turn meter, boost turn meter. That's the Arcane Celerity and the Masteries, right? Kind of pumping those out. So Bad-El with 3.6 million damage, no big deal. No big deal. Hanging with Seer damage-wise. Days, I'm not keeping Days. I'm not keeping Days gear. All right, let's go to Ice Golem 25, guys. So you can see 4.5 overall rating, Dragon 5-star, Ice Golem 5-star, Dragon Hard 5-star, Eternal Dragon, Celestial Griffin. Really can use this champion pretty much everywhere. Look at that, we're already to the Ice Golem here as well. So Bad-El-Kazar is going to both keep the team alive, going to cleanse the team, and going to do all of our damage for the most part here. A little bit of help from Kymar against the Ice Golem in level 25, stage 25 that is. I noticed that they ranked him a 4 in Spider and a 4 in Fire Knight. Spider you could definitely use in progression of Bad-El-Kazar, but in terms of Fire Knight, I haven't really seen any teams using Bad-El-Kazar and Fire Knight. You're only getting that 1 hit on that A1, so I'm not sure exactly what the use case would be there unless you're using some sort of a poison combust team, which I should note is definitely a viable option for Bad-El-Kazar as well. Ideally, on poison combust teams, instant activations, we're looking for somebody who has 3 poisons or 4 poisons, but if you're just starting out trying to use maybe your first poison activation team, you gotta kind of work with what you got, right? And he has 2 poisons on a 3-turn cooldown on all enemies, which is definitely helpful, and you can usually run him alongside another poison activator. It's nice to have a poison activator that's such a good support champion as well. And speaking of support, you can see here, not the world's fastest run by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a level 25 dungeon, and Bad-El-Kazar does carry, as I mentioned, in terms of the damage, just like we saw in the dragon. So guys, there it is. Accuracy, nah. There it is. That's a Bad-El-Kazar guide, but we are not done yet. As I mentioned, I did want to go ahead and read you the new lore on Bad-El-Kazar, so here we go. The great city-state of Irith has existed for nearly all of recorded history. Its origins are ancient, going back to the time of the Empire of Dragons, and some suggest it is older still. For most of its millennia of existence, Irith was known for its legendary Mage Academy, the finest school for magical study and research in all of Teleria. If one wanted the very best magic wielders, one looked no further than Irith. But that Irith is long gone, and its place is a nightmare filled with monsters and madmen. The city's walls overflowed with blood and violence, with the decay of corruption seeping into its very foundations. The blame for this transformation has been laid at the feet of the legendary Grand Master of Irith's Mage Academy, the powerful necromancer Bad-El-Kazar. The story of Kazar's rise to power is mostly lost to history, but there are rumors it was a trail soaked in blood. After becoming Grand Master, his reign was, by most reports, highly successful. The numbers learning in the academy were growing, the city's population was rising, and each day new discoveries were made, until Kazar led a fateful expedition. Driven by visions supported by his researching of archaic texts, Kazar orchestrated a grand voyage from Irith to the furthest north of the Winterlands. His goal was to find a site of ancient power, rumored to predate even the Grey Age. Kazar set sail with a fleet of 5 ships, all filled with servants, guards, and fellow mages, promising to return by the following winter. 6 years passed, and all were assumed lost. The interim Grand Master was fully inducted into the role, funerals were held, and life moved on. And then Kazar's flagship appeared on the horizon, alone. As the vessel drew close, the onlookers gasped. The crew were little more than bone and rotting flesh, undead. The most arresting sight of all was the Bad-El-Kazar himself, standing at the prow, cloaked in tattered raiment, his gray and dying flesh appearing preserved by magic alone. He had revealed himself as a necromancer, and had apparently become one of his own experiments. When Kazar disembarked the vessel, there was no Inquisitors or Templars waiting to arrest or destroy him. Instead, the crowd parted, and the new Grand Master approached the old with trepidation. But would Bad-El-Kazar choose to punish the hubris of those who had doubted his return? If he did, would any be able to stop him? But Kazar, it seemed, was magnanimous in his victory. He accepted the Grand Master's apology, reassumed the mantle of Grand Master himself, and presented the Mage Academy with the fruits of his expedition. The cargo hold of his ship was loaded down with bottle after bottle of a mysterious liquid. It resembled water, but even the least magically sensitive person could sense the power radiating from it. Kazar called it the water of life, and claimed it would change the world. None argued. It certainly changed Irith. Kazar maintained strict control over the substance, portioning it out carefully to the most powerful mages in the city. They, in turn, experimented with the ingredients, creating potions of incredible power. Consuming these potions granted the Imbitor access to unbelievable abilities and hugely amplified their strengths. They called the process ascension, but it had a dark side. It exaggerated personalities. The cautious became paranoid. The ambitious became obsessive. The agitated became furious, and the proud became vain. Psychopathy ran rampant, and the mages' experiments took ever darker turns. More and more of the leading members of the academy subjected themselves to ascension, and so there were fewer and fewer voices speaking out against the escalations. Test subjects were captured from their beds. Monsters were let to wander the streets. City guards were replaced with twisted mannequins, and the gates were shut to prevent the population from escaping. Madness gripped the city, and that grip never loosened. None know precisely what became of those trapped in the city walls. Those few who escaped spoke of nightmarish hellscape as the city twisted itself to serve the mad designs of the ascended Archmagi. Along with the Bad-El-Kazar, even as his city went mad around him, his subjects remained loyal. He was the undisputed Grand Master of Irith. That was centuries ago. Since then, Irith has struck out to expand from time to time and been beaten back. Bad-El-Kazar, meanwhile, has been sighted beyond the city's walls, wandering the back roads of Teleria. What his goals are, none know, but they are wise enough to avoid him at any cost. The mages of Irith had to ascend to lose their empathy. Bad-El-Kazar never had any. It's a pretty cool story, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you for watching this guide all the way till the end. And as always, take care, guys.